Hey guys, it's Synik25 here, bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh battle. This time we are playing pure Constellars, and we're going up against a Blue Eyes deck. And this battle actually ended up to be really good. I actually really enjoyed it, and hope you guys do too. So we start off here. I have a pretty decent hand. A lot of search cards, a lot of cards to help with consistency, such as Tenki, Reinforcement of the Army, and Pot of Duality. So I think he starts things off by playing his Blue Eyes Maiden, which is standard Blue Eyes deck play. I draw into a Grad and end up going straight for the Tenki to get a cost. I then go for the Rhoda to get my Pollux, and then finally go for the Duality to eventually take the Thunder King YuGiOh. And I end my turn just by playing the Thunder King and ending my turn, which in hindsight actually probably wasn't the best play, but I think at the time my mindset was that, Blue Eyes deck's a pretty reactive deck, so if I could just get Thunder King on the field, I'll run into the Blue Eyes Maiden next turn. It'll try to special summon, then I could just negate the Blue Eyes play with Thunder King. But it ended up not working because, as you can see, he has Wonder Wand to proc the effect proactively. So he goes and does that. He gets out his Blue Eyes and ends up just running over by Thunder King. So that didn't really work out too well. But nevertheless, I'm going to fight back next turn. I'll take a pretty big chunk of hit this turn. But he syncers up for his Azurai Silver Dragon and ends his turn. So at this point, I have a number of plays I can make. I have plenty of Constellars in my hand to go for a pretty big push. So I go for Pollux, get Grady out. From Grady, I go ahead and get Cost. I make a Precept to get the extra power boost to run over his Azurai Silver Dragon and end up ending my turn at that. So he still has this Blue Eyes Maiden on the field, which I'm still fearing, and he has a lot of back row. So I know on my next turn, I really want to make Omega, just in case his back row could kill me. So that's what I go ahead and do. I make Omega and just start proceeding to run into the Blue Eyes Maiden. He gets out his Blue Eyes. I finish it off with Omega and end up just throwing down a XYZ Reborn that he unfortunately MSTs. And he also has Roar of the Silver Dragon, which is also not good because it gets another Blue Eyes on the field. And on his turn, he's going to be able to make a pretty big advance towards me. So yeah, he ends up actually XYZing into Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, which I did not see coming. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So, but that thing's going to end up actually stunning the effects on my side of the field, so I won't be able to use Beehive's effect or Precept's effect to power up one of my monsters to keep myself alive, so that's not good. So he's going to go ahead and do that, stun my effects, and just take out my Precept. He's going to end his turn at that. It's on my move now, and I end up drawing into a Dark Hole, which is pretty good. But I end up going into Sombre first to get the effect, to bring back my my Pollux and get it to the field, and end up summoning a Photon Paladinamo to stun his effect and just run into it. Now at this point, I actually misplayed. So I should not have made M7 here with that back row still sitting there. But I didn't really think much of it because he didn't pop it before. But what I should have been thinking was he didn't pop it because I had Omega. So that back row could still be dangerous. But unfortunately, I totally forgot about that, didn't consider it, and he's going to end up popping this Mirror Force and taking out everything I got. But fortunately, Paladinamo's secondary effect is when he's sent to the grave, I draw a card and end up going into Cost, which is pretty good. But I did end up making some advance on him this turn because I managed to stun the effect of his Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon and also push it to 0, so it's no longer a threat. So that's nice. But he's never going to let us put it in defense mode, throw down his Blue Eyes Maiden, and end his turn. And this is where I know I need a Dark Hole. This is like the perfect kind of Dark Hole. If there's anything that can get around Blue Eyes Maiden, it's Dark Hole. So I end up going straight for the Dark Hole, taking out his entire field, and throwing down Bear to get a direct hit in and get another Tenki, which allow me to search for a cost. So I'm still managing to keep my hand somewhat replenished, which is nice. And at this point, I do have more card advantage than he does. But he still manages to keep fighting pretty intensely, actually. This battle is still a little bit more than halfway over, but not done yet. So he gets down Blue Eyes Maiden. I know I still want more card advantage. I've been trying to find an opportunity to get this card D on the field for ages. So I end up taking the opportunity to get the card D, get the +1, and draw into some pretty good cards. So at this point, I'm sitting in a pretty solid position. If I could just, keep everything conservative, I should have the battle. And this is where he tries to make another Blue Eyes play, and this is where I'm really happy I keep Effect Viler in this deck, because I managed to stop that from happening. That would have been pretty bad. So, yeah, I managed to stop him from making a push that turn. He ends up just ending his turn. It comes back to me, and yeah, I'm sitting pretty comfortably now. I have 2 nice traps to protect my XYZs. I go in the Sombre, get a Pollux, throw down Pollux. From Pollux, I threw down Cost, and ready to make a pretty big advance. So I go ahead and make Omega just in case his back row is something nasty. and just start pushing and threatening that maiden to get it off the field. He unfortunately Book of Moons my bear, but it ends up not mattering. I just run into it with Omega to finish it off, but he now has his Blue Eyes on the field, so he'll be able to run me over. But yeah, he draws into a Compulse, so that's going to be the bane of my existence next turn. But this is interesting. I didn't expect him to actually go into Star Eater here, but that's what he wanted to do, and I guess it's a logical move. I mean, he doesn't know what my back row are, so for all he knows, it could be a Mirror Force. So it probably was the safest play. But he ends up just running until I Mega, so now his back row is free to harm me, which isn't good. But at this point, I end up bringing back M7. I think I probably should have brought back Omega, but actually no, M7's still the best play because I could just pop his Star Eater, but it ends up not working because Compulse. Another misplay on my part because I end up flipping over Bear first, and in doing so, it allowed him to chain this Compulse. If I would have just activated M7's effect first, I would have been able to make this a much cleaner turn, but they ended up biting me in the ass there. So, but fortunately, I do have this XYZ Reflect, which stops the Compulse, and I'm able to get M7's effect off. And instead of just popping the Star Eater back, I'm like, I'm going to play some fancy shenanigans. I'm going to get back Pollux and just start going to town on him. And at this point, it's pretty much game. I'm just going to go ahead and make a... What do I make here? I think I make Pallades, actually. No, I actually make Volcasaurus. Yeah, that was awesome. So I end up getting a nice 3,200 on him. And at that point, he just quits. So, yeah, it was a pretty good game. I went back and forth quite, consistently. But it was a good battle. I managed to keep my hand pretty replenished, which is something that I sometimes have a hard time doing. And that's something I've been really working on in this Constellar deck, is trying to keep my hand replenished. This is actually an older version of the Constellar deck that I used. I actually ended up putting the Great Rebirth of Constellar in there, which is kind of like this deck salvage, and then it gets to, take 2 Constellars from the grave and add it to your hand. And that's been really helping. I ended up actually taking out the duality because I felt like it was slowing me down. So that's kind of the replacement I made there. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I'm going to be putting up a deck profile of my Constellars pretty soon. And as always, feel free to like, subscribe, and peace out.